Radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Rapid Fire Comment Response for February 6th through February 12th, 2023. Short comments, quick replies. Shinra 2755, I 100% support trans rights. I will call people by whatever pronouns they desire and respect whatever identity a person has. What I find concerning here is that any opinion that might differ is now erased. Yes, it's not that. It's not just that people that are trans or whatever gender they want to be, want you to call them by that. One thing I find confusing is the they, them. Is there a venom gender? I'm not sure. I need to look into that. But beyond that, there can't be any opinion. That's the problem. That's a big problem right now, beyond trying to force people into calling you whatever gender that you want to, be called or referred to as. Any opinion that someone like the GameStop ma'am is not a wonderful, lovely lady and needs to be called ma'am, any opinion now somehow needs to be erased. Years ago, I talked about how there was a rift in the MGR crew member. As an example, Radical Reggie basically called the GameStop ma'am as he saw it, and then he needed to be erased or distanced from the MGR crew. That's the problem that we're getting into right now. That's just one small example. We can't be erasing opinions. That's a problem. Terry W., it's all getting very silly, but the problem is the game is really good, Hogwarts Legacy. And anyway, what did JK say that was so bad? JK Rowling, I think she is a part of a group, I think, that supports women, and women and trans people really kind of don't see eye to eye, Kind of like if you were something and someone who was trying to copy what you are, or let's say you had certain rights and then someone that wasn't you were trying to get the same rights, it would be kind of silly. But this whole thing is just kind of silly to me anyways. But talking about the game being really good, I didn't see reviews of that game. But isn't it a shame if there's a game like Hogwarts Legacy that actually winds up being really good, but a lot of people, go against it because the creator, not even the game itself, but the creator of the game just happens to not believe that Transformers exist or should, be seen as women. Isn't that silly? Alina 327. Oh, speaking of that. Us trans people are asking the bare minimum for the bare minimum. Please do not buy it. Just don't. Not only is the author a prick, but the game itself is very deeply anti-Semitic. Okay, well, here's another aspect of the game. I think there are caricatures in the game of what is to be seen as Jewish people. I've not seen these, but I've heard about this. I've heard there's points of the game that can be seen as anti-Semitic. But same thing I said before. I mean, if there's something outside the game, if there's something in the game that is very racist or anti-Semitic, that's a legit reason maybe to avoid the game. But I don't know if it's just maybe hinted at or not. And talking about trans people like yourself wanting the bare minimum, okay? Well, I'm just at a loss for what trans women want ultimately. Now, if you want to be seen as a trans woman, all right, okay, that's one thing. But if you want to be seen as a woman in society, if you are trying to do the impossible task, climb that impossible mountain to climb, and be seen by society as a woman, that will never work. Only other trans women will probably see you as a trans woman. And maybe they might be a little jealous because maybe you look better in high heels or a bra or makeup than they do. I hate to laugh. I hate to make fun of trans people. But like Dave Chappelle said, it's kind of a funny situation. It is, I'm not going to get into Dave Chappelle because trans people hate Dave Chappelle also. But, you're welcome to come here, leave comments. We can have discussions, Elena. You don't have to hate me, but probably you're going to wind up hating me, and you'll see me as a prick just like J.K. Rowling. Lobo Neener, Lobo Neener, 1034. WrestleMania card confirmed. Hogwarts Legacy streamers versus Hogwarts Legacy activist in a War Games match. The Quartering versus Tim Pool. DK Oldies versus Review Tech USA, F-22 versus Spy Balloon, Brett Favre versus Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharp in a welfare scam on a pole match, John Hancock versus Mr. Museum, James Rolfe versus Time, Adam Sessler and Frosk versus The Gamers, Tommy Tellerico's and Television Memorial Battle Royal. Well, this took up a lot of the time of the Radical Rapid Fire, so I can't have a response to all those potential matches, but I'll say this is one of the best WrestleMania cards I've ever seen. Like, I mean, this is not what we got. I don't think what we got would have been better as this, but, I mean, how would they do the F-22 versus a Spy Balloon? They'd have to do a reenactment. I'm not sure if that would get by regulations, but everything else here, that's a great WrestleMania card. XD, XXD, XD, 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 X. There's a lot of X's and D's. A reset era won't even allow discussion of the game. Ridiculous. It's a problem when you have a lack of even allowing discussion on the game. I was thinking it was you can't allow discussion on the game because you can't allow discussion of J.K. Rowling, who is maker of the game, and anything on J.K. Rowling. I'm not sure how these, forums are set up to where like they just delete any mentions of J.K. Rowling, but it's one thing if they are not allowing people to discuss just the game itself because of all this stuff outside of the game. Yeah, that's pretty sad. That is ridiculous. Art Bell, 259. Wait a second, okay. Why are there numbers on the end of everything right now? I'm curious. Everything here, it has a number. What's going on YouTube right now? It used to be just Art Bell and, just... So somebody explain to me what the hell's going on with YouTube right now? Why are they putting numbers on the end of everyone's name? It's weird. I'm not even going to recognize the numbers from now on. You're just Art Bell, okay? Laugh out loud. His comments on his newest video are a laugh as usual. Classic stuff. Like, Dad went to buy smokes and never came back. He did so maybe 6 videos in 2022. A workhorse grinder of a YouTuber. Talking about Alpha Megasin. And we've actually always talked about Alpha and how he didn't care about his audience. And he just refused to upload, sometimes for years at a time. Yet he still had the channel up and he still tried to tell people that, he was coming back. Or, I don't know, it's just... I forget a lot of it right now, but I followed Alpha for years and would report on really nothing. That was difficult on my end because Art, I had to report on nothing on his channel. He was doing nothing. So big kudos to me for actually trying to form uploads about Alpha when Alpha wasn't doing anything, right? And a lot of them were for you, Art Bell. His last upload was 10 months ago. So yeah, it's kind of funny. Dad went to buy smokes and never came back. That's also hilarious because, how many of these people in his comment section actually see him as a father figure? Old Alpha, the father figure for them. And they wish he was their dad. Well, Dad's going to go buy smokes and place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Will he even come back again? It's so funny. The return of Alpha Omega Sin. There's been like 15 returns. But, when he gets those cigarettes bought, he might come back, huh? Rune Mamba. The Suns got embarrassed badly by the Mavs last year in the worst Game 7 of the NBA playoffs at home when Luka, by himself, scored more than the entire Suns team combined in the first half. Damn. And they added another choker in KD with them, who got swept 4-0 by the Celtics. 0 leaders on a team. No, they're not true contenders. The team isn't even getting past the second round. Hey, you got some great points there. KD is kind of a choker. And KD, to win, he needs to always go and team up with other teams like Golden State. We went over to the Suns. And that's kind of funny because you know what? They didn't get that far this time, Rune. They didn't get that far. And they constructed their team just basically around offense. And you could say Chris Paul got injured. KD and Booker, they're an amazing offensive duo. But are they closers? Are they those guys? Well, they added Bradley Beal, so there's absolutely no defense on that team right now. It's all offense. It'll be fun to watch during the regular season, but don't all these people saying that Suns are going to probably win next year because they got Bradley Beal. Nah, you don't learn your lesson once, you don't learn it again. Okay, if KD, Kyrie, and Harden can't make it work in Brooklyn, maybe some people start to need to be looking at KD, and maybe he's a big part of why these teams break up. I remember even in Golden State, after 3 years, like he left Golden State. Maybe a lot of that's not actually the team, but it's KD, right? Do not trust us, Tate. Turns out that nobody is buying the Polymega. They have paid for them, but they have not gotten them. I'm a little bit confused. You said nobody is buying them. They paid for them, but they have not gotten them. Do you mean to say like they have tried to buy it and not gotten them? Or nobody has the Polymega? I have not been following that a whole lot. I had an upload talking about, I think, it was maybe Metal Jesus. I think he was the YouTuber that had a Polymega. See, that's nefarious if, let's say, he was playing a Polymega, they sent him one, but didn't send any out to anyone else. I think they would have an invested interest to send one out to an influencer, a game influencer like him. But if what's going on is people is actually paying for the Polymega and not getting them, or they're giving them, an excuse like, well, they're out of production, maybe you should say, you fuckers shouldn't have sent one to Metal Jesus and let him have one and actually just made sure everyone has them available. It's not just maybe MGR. Maybe it's a lot of YouTuber influencers that they made these for to promote it, and then they figure, well, we'll just get this system out to other people, the regular normies, I guess, whenever. But we got to make sure to advertise it first. Dumas. Haha, that Dan Felding character from Night Court was the best. He was harassing all the women constantly. Those that have had a problem with that kind of character, I would like to add, his actions are not prompted to be the right thing. Yeah. See, if it's a sleazy, slimy character like Dan Felding, that's part of his character. It's seen as on the show that that's not to be congratulated. But nowadays, television nowadays couldn't even have that kind of character. I've not seen the new Night Court, but I heard it's terrible. You can't even have those type of sleazy male characters, unless they're basically just ostracized or, they would have to be basically, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking like an Al Bundy. You know how funny Al Bundy was? Do you see an Al Bundy character on television nowadays? Ironically, we actually need someone like Al Bundy on TV right now to call out a lot of this woke shit. But you're not really seeing that, But that would be crazy, like a Married with Children reboot, with different characters, and maybe have Al Bundy come in and do a cameo or something like that. All the reboots we're getting, all the television show reboots, how about a Married with Children reboot with some of the original cast playing different characters? That'd be kind of a trip, wouldn't it? Toast and Stardom, what a messy period for Brooklyn Nets to move on from. Unsure how Phoenix will fare this year, but they now have got a lot of targets on their backs. Yeah, they didn't fare that well. And some people might say it's because of Chris Paul, he got injured, so they didn't have all their team, but they didn't fare that well. Talking about messy periods, here's a positive, Toast and Stardom. If you're a trans woman, then you don't have to worry about messy periods. That's a great plus of being like one of them trans women. And for Brooklyn, messy period for them to move on from? Actually, not that much. I think Brooklyn Nets got a good return for Durant, and they got some pieces to build around. They got a chance to redo it again, and this time maybe they should actually just make some smart choices. But Mikal Bridges, I think that's the one big player they got back. He's a real good player. Nothing wrong with Mikal Bridges. But yeah, we'll see how they move on from that. Nuts 4040. You got me rolling with the Weird Al outro theme. Yeah, I'm fat, you know it. Yeah, I use that one quite a bit if we're talking about maybe overweight individuals or, anything like that of that nature. I try to, whenever possible, sometimes I don't get a chance to, sometimes in a rush. Usually I have a folder with like a lot of random game music I do for the outros. But if you pay attention sometimes in the outros, I actually make it line up with some things I'm talking about in the actual upload. Sith Lord 519. It's not about quality anymore, it's only about representation. This is so sad for people who really deserve it. They should just have their own award show. Talk about Sam Smith getting that award for the Song of the Year, I believe, Album of the Year, whatever, even though it was not It was not the song of the year. It was not the album of the year. You know, you can't explain to me how that song, I can't even, it's so forgettable. So forgettable. It's just not even, it's not the song of the year. It's not. It is not the song of the year. Once you like look through the songs of the year in the past and you look at that one, you can definitely say on that award show, Sam Smith won because of representation, because he's a gay individual, and it was the same reason freaking Bruce Jenner got Woman of the Year. You know, he got that award. It's about representation. It's not about being the best woman on earth. The best woman on earth, Bruce Jenner's not even a woman. So how would you feel like, you know, if you're actually one of the most prominent women on earth doing great things for society and you see this fucking dude in makeup wins it, you know? I know I'm going to offend, sorry, that trans person that left a comment, but they're it's been 5 months. They're probably far gone and everything. Solid Nate 99. Luka is the white hero of the NBA. He's a modern Larry Bird. Well, I tell you, Solid Nate, I root for the white guy in any basketball game, you know? When I see Luka, I don't look at him for his skills. I don't care. As long as he gets a lot of points, more points than the African-American players, I'm like, that's my white hero, baby. I'm just kidding. I know it's not what you meant there. That's not what you meant about being white hero. Or, I mean, I hope it's not, because come on, like, we should actually root for people based on how skilled they are in the game. Now, if they're white, black, Hispanic, you know, we should root for them if they're really good, not because of the color of their skin. But I don't think that's what you meant by that. But talking about the modern Larry Bird, I don't think he's quite there yet. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Larry Bird play a little bit of defense? That's the big lacking gap. The huge chasm in Luka's game is defense. He doesn't play any, you know. Hellbent 650. Is it me or all these YouTubers that claim that YouTube is a job? Fat as fuck. Last time I checked, it doesn't offer health and dental. It's just a hobby. Well, not all YouTubers are fat. Not all that claim that YouTube is their job are fat. Though there are quite a lot. And the thing about YouTube is you can be very successful monetarily on YouTube. You can make a lot of money on YouTube. I think at my peak, I was rolling in thousands and thousands every month. But in no time, Hellbent, did I see YouTube review it as my job. It was just a way that I would make money. It's just a way right now that I make money every month. But you could also put up a lemonade stand in front of your house and sell some lemonade, but you don't call that a job. There's no health insurance, no dental insurance. There's various other things. It's not a job. You can make an argument that if you're making a ton of money on YouTube, like maybe a PewDiePie, then it's superior, far superior to a job because you just have to wake up, upload something, go back to sleep, and then have a lot of residual income that just happens. You can make a lot more money on YouTube than you can at a traditional job, but when I call it out for not being a job, I'm factually correct. It is not a job. Restaurant 97. All-in move by the Mavs. What a weird all-in move. You going all in on Kyrie Irving? Wow, that's not a great all-in move. Now, sometimes it works. Sometimes you go all in on a move. Sometimes, you know, you get there. But that's the thing with gambling. That's a big gamble, and they lost so bad, the Mavs they didn't even make the playoffs. Arioka, No Boogie 2988, Wings of Redemption, RTU, MGR, Hancock, Riggs, Barnacles, Nerdgasm, and Tipster on this new Mario Kart ride, I guess. Yeah, that ride where it's not big enough or it doesn't support heavier people. There's a big outpouring from the fat community because they wanted to go and play on a Mario Kart ride. And I'm thinking, okay, aren't they for children mostly, right? So when you look at Boogie 2988, Wings of Redemption, you know, all these people you mentioned, they're big children. So what kind of 40, 50-year-old you going to be to where you go there and, you know, you're pushing the kids out of the way and you're like, I got to get on this ride. It's for me. You know, come on now. Let the kids play on the rides. You know, you had your moment. You had your time to be a little kid and play on the rides, but let's let the kids play on the rides. Winged Avenger. Go Eagles. Your prediction will be proven wrong, and you'll have to come back on here and admit that Philadelphia is superior to all other cities in America. I, on the other hand, will gloat and ridicule you while laughing maniacally. Either way, there's no reason to gloat and ridicule me because the Super Bowls in the current modern era are predetermined. The screen cap that I captured for this, you'll see, was a holding penalty. Let's see exactly. Well, do I have it right here in the screenshots? Okay. You see it says, hang on, there's a penalty. Holding. Okay. And the Eagles player is surprised, confused. Holding. Into the game, under 2 minutes, Patrick Mahomes misses on a pass. 3rd down and 8. Holding on a 3rd down and 8. Now, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes didn't have a great run before that, but thing is, Patrick Mahomes, maybe if he had another shot or two, he might have gotten that end zone. But the referees wanted to make sure that he got in. He got there, and they won. So what you got to look at is a super close Super Bowl game because they want to make it interesting. But at the end of the game, guess what? It's going to be some holding.